Marjorie Taylor Greene just resigned from Congress with this 10-minute speech. And after I watched it and read the transcript, I realized there's a lot more going on than we would expect. This is a very surprising speech, and it's also the perfect example of persuasion in politics, which is why I'm excited to peel back the curtain and see what's really going on. Let me quickly give you some context. MTG and Donald Trump have gone from political allies to public enemies. And there's a lot behind this fallout. I won't get into the nitty and gritty, but what it's resulted in is Donald Trump publicly going after MTG, MTG going on CNN and apologizing, and then less than 5 days later, she unexpectedly resigns from Congress. We really don't know all that's going on, but what we do know is she left us this 10-minute speech. Let's see how it starts. But real quick before that, could you like this video and subscribe to the channel? Every single Monday and Thursday, you will get a new video where I break down the communication in the world's biggest moments.
Hi, everyone. I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C. and just never fit in.
I promise I won't stop after every line, but this is worth it. She said, I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the U.S. House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C. and never fit in. This is a big way to start your resignation speech, and it gives us a lot of clues, which I'm grateful for. Thank you for making it easy for us. The first clue it gives us is that emotion is going to play a very large part of this speech. What emotion is she giving us? How does she want her audience to feel? Right now, it's a negative emotion. And what we'll see is this is a very negative speech. I have the data for you. I'm going to prove it to you. Just wait. The second thing we're going to see is that she's building this world. She's giving us characters right now. She's the protagonist. She's always represented the common American man, but there's tension with the antagonist already. She's been despised and never fit in. Where? Washington, D.C. That's going to be the antagonist. She also gives us a central legitimizer. This is a value that justifies a worldview. It makes sense of everything. It explains why things are done and why things are said. Trump has a central legitimizer, America first. You'll see that on podiums, on lecterns, on signs in the crowd. That explains what he does and what he says. Obama had change we need. You'd see that on signs, on lecterns, in the crowds. These aren't just slogans. Think of them as moral North Stars. She is going to go back to this concept of the common American man or woman again and again and again. And you may be saying, Chris, you are only one sentence in. Don't you think you're going a little overboard? My response to you is, did you see this pause at the beginning?
Hi, everyone. I've always represented the...
That tells us that this isn't off the cuff. This is prepared. And not only is it prepared, it's strategically prepared. Several people have looked at this more than likely, and there's a specific outcome in mind. They have a goal. If they have a goal, that means they have strategy to get there. That's what we're taking apart.
Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher, corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts, American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest, and the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive. And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart.
You may have caught that, but did you see after she said, breaks my heart, she closes her eyes. It's a long blink. It's a, have you ever been talking and you just want to say, you're letting it out. It's the emphasis of what's being said. Here this is so bad. This world that we live in is so bad. Watch how she builds this. Washington, D.C. convinces Americans to hate the other side. The debt goes higher. Jobs are replaced or shipped overseas. Small businesses swallowed up. Your money funds foreign wars. The dollar continues to decline. Average families can't survive. Children are hopeless. This is all within 1 minute and 23 seconds of this speech, which is crazy that it starts off so negative. But is it crazy? No, it's not crazy. It's intentional. Remember when I said I was going to prove to you that this speech was negative? I made a chart. I'll put it up on the screen so you can see it better. This chart maps out the mood of the speech. In the middle, you have the neutral line. Everything below the neutral line is emotionally negative. Everything above the neutral line is emotionally positive. As you can see in this speech, 85% of this speech lives in the negative. All of the different dots on this chart represent 50 words. This speech is about 1,500 words, so there's 30 dots on the chart. 60% of the words in this first part are negative. What are some of those words? We have debt, decline, crisis, betrayal, hopeless, force-fed, outrage. She's coming out hot, but she's coming out intentional about her emotional engineering. She wants the audience to be anchored in a negative emotion. Why would she want to do this? Well, it sets up one really good and smart thing for her. It's a great strategy because ultimately she's leaving this system. So she doesn't want it to seem like a good system. Rather than saying, hey, I'm resigning from my job, I'm putting in my 2 weeks, now she gets to say, I'm stepping away from a system that has abandoned the people it was meant to serve. It's turned its back on the central legitimizer, the common American man or woman.
I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again meant America first. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies because I believe God creates life at conception, and I love to fight for the little guy. Strong, safe borders, I have fought hard for that. I've fought against COVID tyrannical insanity and mandated mass vaccinations, and I've never voted to fund foreign wars with your hard-earned tax dollars. However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongly, resulting in the House not working for the entire time, and we are entering campaign season, which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-election mode is turned on in the House of Representatives. During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass a plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster. But instead, America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle on television every single day.
If you notice, she's moving away from the common American man, the public grievance, and moving to self-virtue. So she's beginning to build up the hero, the narrative arc. Watch. She says, I have one of the most conservative voting records. I raged against my own speaker. I fought hard against COVID tyrannical insanity and mandated mass vaccinations. I've never voted to fund foreign wars. So she's laying it out on the table. Here's all that she's done. This is an angry part of the speech. You'll notice on the emotional side, it actually goes lower. It's been really bad for her. Yes, it's a screwed up system overall, but overall it's been really bad for her. And watch how it shifts.
I've been blessed to represent the 14th District of Georgia for 5 years. The district is filled with some of the most wonderful, kind-hearted, God-fearing, patriotic, hardworking people you will ever meet. Good, regular, common Americans. I've worked hard to bring taxpayer dollars back home to help district needs. I impeached Biden's Secretary of Homeland after watching my constituents die as he facilitated dangerous open border invasion into America. And I led the effort to defund hard-left politically biased NPR and PBS and the corrupt USAID, and I did that as chair of the DOJ subcommittee. I have fought harder than almost any other elected Republican to elect Donald Trump and Republicans to power. I traveled the country for years. I spent millions of my own money. I missed precious time with my family that I can never get back. And I showed up in places like outside the New York courthouse in Collect Pond Park against a raging leftist mob as Trump faced Democrat lawfare.
We are in the most positive part of the speech right now, and it also is the moment she's talking about herself. Here she's building the hero virtue. This is her chance to share her legacy, how she wants to be remembered. She has fought for people. She's been blessed, she's hardworking, she's followed her convictions. This is positive self-referential language. You want to speak optimistically when you talk about what you've done. It's surprising to me that this is really the most positive part of the overall speech when she's talking about herself, but it gives us insight to what her goal is. You'll see at the end. It's remember this person as the person who chose good, the person who fought hard. Amidst all this tyranny, she didn't turn her back on the common American man or woman. But then it takes a sharp decline.
My only goal and desire has ever been to hold the Republican Party accountable for the promises it makes to the American people and put America first. And I have fought against Democrats' damaging policies like the Green New Deal, wide open, deadly, unsafe border policies, and the trans agenda on children and against women. With that has brought years of non-stop, never-ending personal attacks, death threats, lawfare, ridiculous slander and lies about me that most people could never withstand even for a single day. It has been unfair and wrong, not only to me, but especially to my family, but it's been wrong to my district as well. I have too much self-respect and dignity. I love my family way too much, and I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president that we all fought for, only to fight and win my election while Republicans will likely lose the midterms, and in turn be expected to defend the president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against me and tried to destroy me. It's all so absurd and completely unserious. I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well.
This is the part of the movie where it gets dicey. And in this speech, it's the martyr chapter. What the martyr chapter does is two good things. The first good thing it does is it purifies the protagonist. Yes, Greene was involved with Congress, but due to all the pain she's had to endure, that proves her loyalty to the common American man or woman. The second thing is it acts as a bonding agent to the central legitimizer of the speech. She's experienced this pain. Her suffering is your suffering. If you notice this line, she says, if I'm cast aside by MAGA and replaced by neocons, big pharma, a few other things, foreign leaders, elite donor class, that can't even relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well. Her suffering is your suffering. And then there's one last shift.
There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. When common American people realize and understand that the political industrial complex of both parties is ripping this country apart, that not one elected leader like me is able to stop Washington's machine from gradually destroying our country, and instead the reality is that they, common Americans, the people, possess the real power over Washington, then I'll be here by their side to rebuild it. Until then, I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead. I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026. And I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future. May God bless you all, and may God bless America.
In grad school, my thesis was on presidential farewell addresses, how presidents say goodbye. And what I learned is that you need to end with optimism. The best farewell addresses always ended in optimism because you want your audience to feel good at the end because they're going to be more likely to remember you in a better light. Here she goes up in the positivity, but then at the very end, it goes back neutral, which is really interesting to me. She starts off with some prophetic rhetoric, talking about what's going to happen in the future. She says, the people possess the real power over Washington. When they finally realize I'll be here by their side to rebuild it, I'm going back to the people I love, a new path ahead. So she does elevate herself out of the political fight. She's no longer a congresswoman. Now she's a guide to the common American, but it's conditional. She's a guide to the common American when they wake up and see that they have the power. I don't know what that's going to take. I don't know when that's going to happen. That'd be a good question that I'd have for her. And another question that I had for her is like, why bring the emotion back down to be a bit more matter of fact? It does close the rhetorical loop. At the beginning, she said she always represented the common American man or woman, but she's always been despised in DC and never fit in. And now she's saying like, hey, I no longer need to fit in because I realize I don't belong there, because that's a corrupt machine. And as the hero of the story, she's not a corrupt protagonist, right? The hero leaves the corrupt world, she returns to the people, and then she promises to lead them whenever they are ready. If you liked this communication breakdown, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna make more. This was an exciting one to me because it made me think of grad school. And if you liked this idea of leave taking, of saying bye and doing it on the world's biggest stage, watch this video I did of a retirement speech. It's going to be different. It's gonna be a good change of pace, but there's gonna be some similarities. As always, I'll see you next time.